All right, greetings. I wanted to share a couple of thoughts with you about um, some kind of reflection and discussion questions for each of these sessions. And so here's the kind of maybe the idea behind that, and that is so we offered this retreat in a context of a community of people, and so within each of the sessions there are points of discussion that happen and questions that we reflect on. And that's really valuable and is worth repeating, worth repeating and sharing. Uh, some of the best content came from that. Now, in the sessions, most of that's been kind of edited to protect people's privacy, but the, the, the thrust of it is still there. And so I would encourage you in these, if you can, to go engage this material with some other people, and to see how it resonates with each of you. Um, and so, um, but I realize that that may not work for everybody, and so you might end up finding yourself just going through this material on your own. And so I wanted to give you some thoughts on kind of reflection and discussion that you could use either on your own or with other people. And the um, maybe the strategy or the technique or the sort of aim of discussion and reflection is to sort of gently fall down to the bottom, to the thing that's good, the most important thing. And you want that process to be gentle. Okay. And so it's not particularly helpful to start discussion or reflection questions with really deep questions. Those don't tend to land well. It's also not particularly helpful to spend kind of discussion and reflection time just sort of at the surface. You wanna kind of start at the surface and gently work your way down, like a falling leaf or feather, gently working your way down. And a really, uh, I think a really helpful way, a really helpful structure for that is these three questions: what, so what, now what? What, so what, now what? And so with each of the sessions, I want to encourage you to start with a couple of questions about what. I think it's helpful to start with the good. What what in this session resonated with you? What kind of connected with you? That's a good question. Another helpful question is, what do you have questions about, or what missed the mark for you? Um, and so ask some questions about the content of the session. And then the second question to ask, or set of questions to ask, is the so what? So what? Why? Why does that matter to you? Um, how is that? How is that resonating with maybe what's happening in your life? What's important to you? Um, get to the why. Get to the why of that. And then the final question is the now what? That's the application question. And think about and reflect some on that. Now what? And try to think of one thing to take away. Often in life, small things done often is what really leads to good growth for us. And so don't try to think of big things. Try to think of small things. Small things done often. That's the what. So as you gather either on your own or with a small group, I want to encourage you to take in the content and then pause to reflect on it, asking questions along the lines of what, so what, now what. If you do this in a group, I would encourage two things. One would be it's really good to have somebody who chooses to facilitate and steward that time and is able to ask those questions. And that can really help a group along. And second, it can be really helpful to have somebody else who is jotting down notes on a whiteboard or piece of paper with a marker or something like that, just to kind of help gather what people are sharing. And so if you have someone who can facilitate and someone who can scribe, that can help to kind of capture the thoughts. And maybe a third suggestion for a group is this: introverts need time to hear a question, process it, think about if they have an answer to that question, formulate that answer, make sure it's their turn to speak, and then share their answer. And so if you're, I was just in a meeting yesterday where somebody did this, where they kept doing this, where they would say, okay, does anyone have any questions? And then they wait about 3 seconds and they'd be like, okay, good, and then move on. I would say, let there be plenty of silence. Count if you find that hard, try counting to 17, really, in your head, and just see if and just give space for stuff to percolate up for people and to see what they have to share. And then and so that would be some kind of, I guess, guidance on how to approach a reflecting and discussion time. Maybe a last thought on the reflection time, if you do this on your own, would be it's really good to actually get a journal, a notebook, and write out your reflections. And then maybe a final thought would be, and then conclude whatever reflection discussion that you have with a prayer, commending all of that to our Lord Jesus. So, okay, hopefully that you can take what's helpful in that for you and let the rest of it go. And blessings is on this pilgrimage of hope, as it were. Okay.